Good morning, team. For today's language arts lesson, you will need a pen or pencil to write with, your language arts packet, and your animal adaptations book. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to gather these materials. All right, welcome back. So today's lesson is on Unit 3.1, Lesson 7. So Unit 3, which is Animal Adaptations, Week 1, Lesson 7. Let's open up our packet to where it says Lesson 7 in the top left-hand corner. Today we are going to be discussing the key details and the main idea about the reading Animals as Tools for Survival. So we're reading a new section of Unit 3 and we are going to uncover the main idea and details. And remember, main idea just means what the reading is going to be all about. You're going to see a seesaw activity today all about main idea and detail, where you have to tell me what the whole video is about, main idea, and give me some details from the video, the details. So as you can see on this chart, we have our reading broken up into sections. And today we're only going to do half of them. We are going to do the section labeled Introduction, Webbed Feet, and Sharp Claws. Within each of these sections, we're going to uncover what the main idea is and what details we got from the reading. Okay? So some new vocabulary words that I wanted us to go over before we start reading are right here. And I'm going to show you the words. The first one is detect. And you can see an I there because detect means to discover or notice something. So the only way that you can see that is with your eyes, right? Our next vocabulary word for our reading is locomotion. Here you can see footprints. And that's because locomotion is just the act of moving from one place to another. So your way of locomotion is your feet. For a bird, it's their wings, right? They fly from one place to another. Our next word is to navigate. And here we have direction signs going north, south, east, west. That's because to navigate is to sail, fly, or travel across, along, or through something. Navigate could also mean trying to find your place to where you need to go. Okay, so that's navigate. And then, of course, there's the word steer. Now, automatically, when I hear the word steer, I think of a car and I think of a steering wheel. Well, the steering wheel helps the car move from one place to another, helps it turn, helps it back up, all kinds of things, right? So think of it as an animal, and not necessarily an animal that has a steering wheel, but that it causes the animal or something to move in a certain way or direction. Okay, so steer. Let's take a look at page 6 and 7 in our animal adaptations book. That's where we're going to find our story, Animals as Tools for Survival. And as you can see, like I said, we're only looking at 3 sections of our reading today, and it's already broken down for us. The first paragraph, and I already wrote the word introduction, is this section right here. So when we read it, what do we think the main idea is? What is this whole paragraph about? And what details gave us that idea? Number 2 is webbed feet, and you can see here that the section actually has a heading. The letters are darker, they're a little bit bigger. This heading tells us that this whole section will be about webbed feet, which, by the way, boys and girls, main idea is usually in the title or the heading of things. So automatically I know that the main idea for webbed feet is webbed feet. And then the third one that we will be looking at today is sharp claws. So on page 7, you'll see here that we have the heading again that says sharp claws, which means this whole paragraph is going to be about sharp claws. You're absolutely right. So automatically, because I know that a heading or a title tells me what I'm going to read about, tells me the main idea. Right here in this section that is labeled Webbed Feet and Sharp Claws, it's about animals with webbed feet. That's the main idea. And the one that's labeled Sharp Claws, it's about animals with sharp claws, right? It's, it's about animals with sharp claws. And as you can see, I didn't even have to read that section and not figure out what the main idea is. I learned what that section was all about just from the heading. Okay, just from that little heading with the bold letters. Okay. Now my introduction does not have that bold heading, so we'll have to read to figure out what the main idea is, and we'll start right here. Almost everything about an animal's body is a physical adaptation. The Milwaukee Zoo has an animal adaptations lab. On a recent tour there, students learned that webbed feet, sharp claws, whiskers, large beaks, and long tails are adaptations found in many animals. These adaptations help animals survive. The lab doesn't stop there. The free 8-week program, which runs every fall and spring, allows students to do hands-on studies of adaptations for eating, defense, and locomotion. Here's what a recent group discovered. So before we move on, what were some of the details that you caught in that first paragraph? Right, I saw that too. Usually the very first sentence tells us what it's going to be all about. So almost everything about an animal's body is an animal adaptation. That's a detail, right, that we have learned from this paragraph. Now, the idea about details is that you don't write every single sentence. You only write the ones that really tell you the most information. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bullet here, and I'm going to write everything about an animal, an animal's body is an adaptation. They were talking about a specific place where the children can learn about adaptations. Do you remember that? Yeah, it's right here. The Milwaukee Zoo is where kids can learn about how webbed feet, sharp claws, whiskers, large beaks, and long tails are animal adaptations and how they help them to survive. So there is, I'm going to put another bullet. I'm going to put at the Milwaukee Zoo. It's a long word, so make sure you can write small enough to let it fit. The Milwaukee Zoo has a program to learn about these animal adaptations, right? And I'm going to go right into the other box here to fit my sentence. And I think those details really are all what that whole paragraph was about, right? And it just said that here's what a recent group discovered. So that just means that the kids who did go to this free 8-week program, that those group of kids learned or discovered some really great things about animal adaptation. So that main idea, what do you think it was all about? Then now that we know that every animal's body is an adaptation, and at the Milwaukee Zoo, there's an adaptation program where kids can learn more about it. What do we know here? Animals have adaptations, right? Many animals have an adaptation. And it helps them to what, you guys? Survive. That's exactly what adaptations are for. Many animals have an adaptation to survive. Let's take a look at our next section labeled webbed feet. Webbed feet goes on to page 6 to page 7. Ducks and polar bears are born with webbed feet. They have skin or webbing stretched between their toes. So there's some extra skin like right here. This webbing allows the feet to paddle the body through water with ease. It helps animals save energy too. Are you picking up some details from this reading? I am too. Some new information. Webbed feet help different animals in different ways. Polar bears use webbed feet to swim faster. Flying frogs use webbed feet to glide through the air. So we know that this whole section, we know that this whole section is about webbed feet. That's what we wrote right here. So what kind of details did you learn about webbed feet? Right, that it's extra skin, right? Extra skin stretched between animals' toes. And what was it used for? Do you remember? Right. It was used to either help them swim better, or what about the frog? To help it glide through the air, right? So it helps them move easier. And if you have room, you can probably label all the different types of animals who have webbing, right? We heard about the polar bear, polar bears, ducks, and frogs have webbed feet. And I imagine that using their webbed feet helps them either catch their prey or run away from their prey or from their predator. Okay, we're on the last one, you guys. Sharp claws. So sharp claws is on page 7, and I think that's where it ends. Yep, it's only on page 7. A claw is a body part at the end of an animal's toe. Claws are different from nails. Claws have sharp points. Claws have many uses. Like webbed feet, they help animals move faster. Unlike webbed feet, they also help animals climb and hang in trees. Here we see a couple of pictures with captions right below it. Adding traction, a cheetah's sharp claws help make it the fastest land animal in the world. The three-toed sloth is the slowest land animal. Its sharp claws help it hang from tree branches for long periods. So did you get some details or some new bits of information about sharp claws? I did too, so let's see what we can add to our sharp claws key details. So looking back at the very beginning of our sentence, of our paragraph, what are claws? Right, they're this sharp point at the end of an animal's toe. So let's write that, sharp point at the end of an animal's toe. What else about the claw did you pick up? What else? What other detail? There's many uses for them, right? They're used to move faster or sometimes to climb things, right? They are used in many ways. And because I'm doing my animal research on sloths, I know that their claws keep them close to the thing that helps them survive, right? Like the trees that they're hanging in, but also it helps them to fight off any predators. And in the picture here, we have the cheetah, and Kaylee is doing the cheetah. So we know that her animal's adaptation, the claws, help that cheetah outrun its prey and catch it. All right, boys and girls, that's it for today. We're going to finish the next sections tomorrow. Take a moment if you need to copy this down into your language arts packet. If you've already caught up and you're ready to move on, then you may stop this video. But before I do, I just want to show you one thing that Lily made me. Isn't that adorable? So cute. I love it. She says, I love you, Mom. I love that picture of my baby. All right, boys and girls, thanks for joining me. Bye.